expect nothing, and when you receive a little bit, bam, you're set.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Yeah.
I feel like I forget this all of a sudden.
Me?
Yeah.
Wait. Wait a second. 16, I think.
You think? Hello friends, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. At the time I'm filming this, everything in this video has already happened, so I'm just kind of jumping on here to explain what this video really is. I have been friends with Yanis from Infinite Bookish for at least a year now. I don't really know how long we've been talking, but it's been a while. And we have very similar interests in books, and one of our favorite all-time authors is Victoria Schwab. And so we decided, kind of almost out of the blue, that we were going to buddy read this Savage Song. And so that's kind of what this video is. It's the process of me attempting and very poorly making my way through this book, and then also our kind of like video chat discussing, kind of doing our full review on all of our thoughts on this book. We start off with non-spoilers and then jump into more spoilerly things. That's not a word, but they're spoilers as well. I'll put the timestamp on the screen if you want to go to that review part. But yeah, that's kind of what this video is. And both Yanis and I had slightly different opinions on the book, so there was a little bit of dynamic of what we thought was good and bad. All that kind of stuff. You can check it out in the review portion of this video. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about this book before we jump into everything. So this is one of Victoria Schwab's young adult novels. We both love the Darker Shade of Magic series by her, which is an adult book written by her. And Yanis loves Vicious, which is an adult book by her. And I have also read City of Ghosts, which is a middle grade novel by her, and I kind of enjoyed that. So we both had never read one of her YA books, and so we were like, hey, let's read this one. I've owned this book for quite a while, so I'm very happy that I finally read it with her, and it was a good time overall. Once I actually got through the book, made some progress, actually finished it, then it was good. Anyway, so this book kind of follows Kate and August. Kate is trying to prove herself to her dad by essentially just being this like cold-hearted girl who will do anything to get to the top. August, who is a monster, is trying to prove to himself and the people around him that regardless if he is a monster, he can be human too. And it's set in this world where there's kind of this constant battle almost between humans and monsters, but no one really knows what the monsters look like entirely just by looking at them. So when they both end up at the same school, who knows what would happen. And so it kind of goes into the conflict between them and the world that they live in. It's a very character-focused story, but it was pretty good nonetheless. So if you want to hear more of my thoughts and Yanis' thoughts, just continue to watch this video, and I'll probably be jumping in here a couple times as well, so enjoy the video. Today marks the first day I am reading this Savage Song with Yanis. We are attempting to read 100 pages per day of this book, so trying to finish it in around 4 to 5 days, depending on if we actually follow through with that. Taking notes along the way, so we have stuff to discuss, and I have been really excited to read this book for so long because it's by Victoria Schwab, which I think is like my favorite author right now, so I'm really excited to hopefully enjoy this book. My favorite series, A Darker Shade of Magic, is by her as well. This is her YA book though, that's adult, so I'm hoping it's like the same kind of love for this book as I had with the other one, so hopefully things all go well. So we're just gonna start to read this now.
Your 20s are for spending hours and hours pretending.
Alrighty, so it is technically still day one of reading this Savage Song with Yanis. Since where we live, there's like a 12-hour time difference. She is 12 hours ahead. Technically, I still have about 2 hours before our official day 2 starts, and I ended up reading about like 5 pages last night, because then I ended up just doing other things. So now we're gonna read the first 100 pages, hopefully before like my day officially ends. It's around 5 p.m. right now, and so the goal is to finish it by 7 when she like wakes up and like gets her day started. I don't really have any thoughts because I've only read like 3 pages, but hopefully I will have some more as the kind of day goes on, and hopefully I'm able to finish these 100 pages, if not by 7, then by the end of the night, before midnight or whenever I stop reading. Yeah, so I didn't really end up reading that much, but hey, we tried our best kind of sort of sometimes, so. Update. I've made myself a drink. We have an energy bar and this book, and I will update you by the end of the day when I read 200 pages of this book. And that's just that.
20s are for wasting time. 'Cause you could be with anyone you wanted.
This is my tripod for the time being, but last night I said I would update you when I finished, oh, my bookmark fell out, 200 pages of this book, and I'm happy to tell you that I finished a whole 23 pages of this book. Will I ever finish this? That's a great question, but haven't talked to Yanis yet. Hopefully she's a little bit behind because I haven't gotten any video updates from her yet. So maybe we're just struggling together. Yeah, she wasn't really reading that fast either, so it was fine. We ended up talking and we ended up getting to the first part of the book at the same time, which was like at least a week into us starting to read this book, which was kind of sad considering we attempted to read this book in 4 days. It took us a little longer, like a week and a half, and we kind of just grinded it out all at the end. But hey, it's okay. We finished it in the end. I have 2.5 hours before I have a call because I'm just doing a little bit of work for my dad. But in the meantime, maybe I'll read this. Maybe. Who knows? Alright, so today is the day of the live stream with Yanis. We are FaceTiming tonight at 8 p.m. for me, 8 a.m. for her. Love time differences. But I'm really excited to talk with her about this Savage song. A little bit about when I actually finished this book. I know it's been quite a bit since I've updated you guys, but Yanis and I kind of planned out reading this book over the course of 4 days because there are 4 verses or like parts in the book, and we planned to read about 1 part a day, which was about just over 100 pages. However, for both of us, that actually took us like a week to read like 1 part, and so I think both of us just ended up grinding it out in like 1 day or 1 night or something. I know for me it was the other night. I just was committed and pushed through the book, went to bed a little late, but it's fine because we finished it. And overall I did enjoy the book, and I know Yanis I think enjoyed it a little bit more than me, so I'm kind of interested to hear more of her thoughts about like what specifically she enjoyed and what made her, you know, just like it more than I did, I guess. So yeah, we have that discussion today, and I'm just trying to remember all the details because when you read something in one sitting, the details just go in one ear and almost out the other. So I'm just trying to put together a little list of questions that I want to go over with her, but I am really excited to discuss with her because this is the first time I'm ever buddy reading a book and like doing a video collab kind of thing on it. So Yanis and I have talked online for like a year or so, I think, since we've been online friends. So it's kind of nice that we finally get to like collab, chat, and do all that kind of stuff. And this book overall was pretty good, so I'm happy to be able to discuss something relatively positive with her. So now we just wait. So I'll see you all in the chat. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Yanis, and I'm from the channel Infinite Bookish. So, yeah, we are buddy reading this book.
Where's the? Here we go.
I don't have the book. It's an ebook.
Oh yeah, you read an ebook, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like bought this like a year ago, meaning to read it, and then never actually read it. So, so let's jump in. So I guess we'll just kind of start off with like an overall kind of thoughts thing, and then we can jump into like specifics, like spoiler things, like a little later.
Okay.
Okay, so you already asked me why I rated this book 3 stars. So for me, like how, because everyone rates their books like a little differently. A 3-star book for me is like a book that like was a solid, like confidently I can say like it was a good read, but it wasn't necessarily something I would like go on and on about. Like I love like the Darker Shade of Magic series, like that is perfection. This just like structurally it was good, but it didn't hit me as much as I would have liked it to. There were a couple scenes, especially towards the end, where I was fully ready to like read and I was so excited, but it took a really long time for me to get that far into the book, and it wasn't worth all the times I didn't really enjoy it as much, if that makes any sense.
You didn't enjoy the beginning?
No, not really. I think it took me a while to get into the book, so like the full first part was kind of just like a drag, and the full first part was like over 100 pages long, so it kind of took a long time. But I think my favorite was the second verse, because I felt we got a lot more like development happening and stuff. How about you? So you rated it 4 stars, right?
Yeah, I actually liked it because it reminds me of Vicious. You haven't read that, right?
I have not.
I really liked how her writes her monsters, because I think it just really goes into the gray morality, I think, and it just talks about like how monsters are not really that monstrous, and I think she describes what is his name? August as a squeamish monster, and I died at that moment. It's actually, I really like reading about Kate and August. I really like reading about them, but I do get what you're saying. Like, sometimes it's a little underwhelming because sometimes I'm just a little bored also. But I think overall it's still kind of good, but it's not her best, definitely.
So something in her writing I've noticed is like sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get to like the more like interesting stuff, but then normally it pays off once you finally get there and you understand everything as to like why. And I like really loved that in like the Dark Shade of Magic series, but this, it just didn't hit the same, you know?
I think some of her books are just, they're like really entertaining in general, but it doesn't leave a very huge impact. I think this may be one of those books because I remember the scenes, but it's not something that's like my absolutely favorite. So
Yeah.
4 stars. Also, it reminds me of Legend, and I don't know why. It's a little dystopian.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
I almost feel like the writing is a little bit similar because I recently, like, I read Legend. I think recently, like 6 months ago or something. But I remember the writing and the way that the two main characters, Day and June, were written. Once you said it, it kind of reminded me of how Kate and August were written as well, like as well as like in their environment and stuff. So I can kind of get a vibe of that too. Another thing, so you rated it 4 stars. Like what made it 4 stars rather than like a 3 or a 5 for you?
I think it wasn't a 3. I was like pretty sure when I was reading it, like even if I'm just like middle of it, because I just, even though it's not like my absolutely favorite, it still is like really entertaining for me. Like I actually will laugh with the book and I'm not like just like really bored by it. And it wasn't a 5 because it just doesn't, it just doesn't feel like it would be. Like it doesn't really have very emotional moments. Like I'm not crying about it, or I'm not like, really emotional. So it was alright, not like really good, but not really bad at all.
If someone were to say, should I read it, would you recommend it to them or would you turn them away and pick a different book instead?
I would actually recommend this book. Like, I would recommend maybe reading this before Vicious. Like, Vicious, I think Vicious is a more advanced version of this book. So it really have like similar themes, but this is more, it's more YA, this book. So, I would recommend, if anyone want to read V. Schwab's books, I recommend This Savage Song and then go to Vicious.
Okay, that's gonna be me because I read Vicious after this.
I hope you like Vicious.
I honestly, like, I feel like I will. Like, I went into This Savage Song, like, wanting to like it, but, like, I don't know. Everything I've heard about Vicious just kind of, like, seems like I'm really gonna like it. And
yeah, it's really good.
I'm hoping I will. I think we both have pretty similar tastes in books and stuff, but you know how some young adult books, some are definitely aged towards, like, 13 years old, while some are definitely aged towards, like, the upper teen years? I think this one would be considered a little bit on the younger side. I definitely found this book geared a little bit younger than, like, The Cruel Prince or something, or Caraval. I don't know, I think, for me, personally, one of the reasons, like, it didn't hit, like, as much as I would have liked to, just because it was aimed slightly younger. I'm not sure why this book didn't hit as much. I wish it did, because every single time someone's like, oh, Lauren, who's your favorite author? I'm like, Victoria Schwab, she's amazing. And I'm like, even though I've only read one book series by her, she is fantastic.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Oh, would you read the second and final book?
Yes. I am actually already added it to my TBR on
okay.
Yeah, I actually really want to read it.
I feel like I want to read it just so I know how it ends, like officially ends. I'm not super driven, but like if it happened to like appear on my shelf, maybe I would read it. So let's just jump into like the details of the story then. So if anyone's watching and they like don't want to be spoiled, just leave. One of the biggest things was the fact that Kate was always trying to like prove herself to her dad. But then over the course of the book, she was like, oh, shoot, he's actually not a good person.
And I really like it when she reveals that it is her father that's lying and not the monster. I don't know what they're called.
I really liked that. And I honestly, like, I didn't see it coming. I honestly thought that, like, her narrative of what was, like, the good, like, even though it was kind of like a grayish kind of area because she was trying so hard to prove that she was worthy of her, like, father's, like, love and, like, attention and could believe in her and stuff. But the fact that she herself was, like, a good person, but, like, was fighting for bad things. It introduces the V.E. Schwab iconic, like, gray character scale.
And then August, he is supposed to be the bad guy. He's the monster. And he just really wants to be a good person. And it just, it's very iconic, like V.E. Schwab.
Yeah, and I forget where I read this or something, but V.E. Schwab, like, she's always known for her, like, Hufflepuff boy character and then Slytherin girl character.
Yeah,
And
I totally read that.
I've seen that in each of the 3 books that I read by her, so it's kind of like it works. It just works.
It works, yeah.
My favorite part in the whole book, and I remember it's one of the only things I really remember, was it was 360 something page, and we find out, you know how the monsters can only hunt like sinners, people that have like killed someone, something like that.
Yeah.
When Kate killed the guy out of like almost self-defense, but like not really. August comes out, he's like, what did you do? And I looked at that and I was like, what did you do? I didn't know what to do with myself. That was like the one part in the book. Once I read that, I was like, this is why I can confidently say this was a good book. Because something led up where I was like screaming, you know? Like that's my favorite part in all the books, when I can be like, oh my god, this is crazy. So that was one of my favorite parts for sure.
Yeah, and then later in the book, like by the end of it, like August is like saying that they're kind of monster, they're protecting the people. Like he is protecting Kate, and so Kate doesn't have to suffer because of her own sin. And I just think the concept is really interesting. Like, and then Kate will be that kind of do the bad thing, but also she's also doing it out of self-defense. I really like how V. Schwab writes great morality. It's like her monsters are really cute.
Have you read the Red Queen series at all?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll just kind of briefly go over it. There's this one character, his name's Maven, and he's like the iconic villain of the story, but once you get to like the last book, it's like you see the full grayscale and like things come around, and that's like one of my favorite villains of all time because of how like you want to hate him, but you're like, I can't. So anything like that, it just really gets my interest, and I think she does a great job at writing it, like no matter the story.
Agree.
Another thing I liked in the book was all my favorite parts were more towards the end, I found. But you know how August has to like play his violin and do whatever to like survive and stuff? When
that part.
Started to like slowly lose himself and like try to fight against it because he was like, Leo said I could do it. He always said I could. And then all of a sudden he's like, I did it. And then all of a sudden like the world, it just explodes because he doesn't even know what he's doing. I really liked that, especially the slow build.
Also, that part when August is like hiding his hunger from Kate.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm fine. And then,
Buddy.
And then he later just holds back. And then he just like keeps fighting and then wants to prove his brother wrong. It just.
I know. But then once, because he said he was like, I did it. Like, I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, like, he doesn't realize it, but the reader's just like, watching it take place of his like demise, really.
Yeah, I also really like how he asked Kate to promise him not to leave him or something around the same line.
Yeah.
Like, don't let me go to the dark, go something.
I can't go dark or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, we're getting too happy right now. We have to bring this down. What are the things you didn't like? Or I can start it off if you don't have.
Yeah, you go first. Okay,
so like I kind of said, the beginning was my least favorite part, like the first verse. I just found, maybe it might have just been me personally and how like I wasn't like just totally invested or whatever, but I just found getting into the world at the beginning was a little bit difficult. Like I was kind of confused on the 2 cities fighting and like how that like looked like and how that affected everyone. Because you know how there's the war going on and stuff?
Yeah.
For me personally, I couldn't really, like, understand how it really played into everything other than the fact that it gives us the conflict of the Harker versus Flynn or whatever. But other than that, I felt it kind of just disappeared a little bit until towards the end as well. So,
true.
So I think for me that was something, and also just it wasn't interesting for me enough in the beginning. And it took me a little bit to fully understand what exactly was happening because we go back and forth from the 2 perspectives every chapter basically. And just it took me a while to like get involved in the story, and I just wish it took a little less time personally.
I don't know, maybe this is like more of a dystopian book, and I don't usually have the best experience with dystopian. Like, I didn't finish Legend, so, like, I didn't continue the series.
Okay.
So maybe I just was like expecting nothing, and then I go into it actually pretty surprised.
That's great. That's great. Expect nothing, and when you receive a little bit, bam, you're
Yeah.
set. Yeah, I don't know. Dystopians normally are my kind of thing, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I wanted to love this book, so I don't know what happened, but vicious. I'm gonna like it. I
Read,
have a
read
feeling.
Vicious.
Have a feeling. Another thing for me, I think, the relationship between Kate and August to like towards the beginning or in like the second verse. I really liked the second verse because we got, like a lot happened and that was really interesting for me to like pick up the story. Because we find out like, or Kate finds out that he's a monster, and we go through like that whole thing there, which I found really cool and like exciting. And also how they started to like slowly bond a little bit. I kind of did enjoy that, but I almost felt like it was like a little forced. I don't know if you found that at all, because Kate goes around acting like she's up here and everyone's down here, but all of a sudden she starts talking to this like random guy. But like I feel like it was almost out of character a little bit. Like, why did she take such a liking to this one particular person when she like blocked out everyone else? What are your opinions? Like, I'm just
I didn't think of that when I was reading it, because I think there was somewhere that she mentioned she thinks August is special like her, like they both of them don't fit in.
yeah.
And I think that is why she really kind of want to befriend him. But I think there's this girl, Rachel, is that the
Yeah.
girl? Yeah. I thought she's going to play a more important role
No.
later in the book, but no.
No, she was just there to get yelled at and to leave.
Yeah.
That was it. That was my favorite part in the book. Wait, I actually think I... Okay, so it's like, what are you doing, came a voice, the words like a whine. Rachel, the girl who'd cornered her on the way to the gym. Kate forced her grip to loosen on the counter. Praying, she said, straightening slowly. Rachel arched her brow. For what? Forgiveness, said Kate, for the things I'm about to do if you don't get out of my way. And I was like, yes! Iconic.
Yes.
Iconic.
Yes. I thought it was going to be a plot twist or something that Rachel is actually like against Kate.
Yeah.
But ooh.
Same thing with August. Like, the friends he kind of made, they just kind of disappeared too.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I didn't realize it.
The second verse, like, August and Kate, it was more focused on, like, their bonding, whatever.
Yeah.
But I felt like, it felt really stereotypical almost. Like, hey, you're the new kid. Want to be friends? Like, it felt very, like flat, you know? Like, they didn't meet over some big moment. Literally, the new kid was just like, or that, I literally forget his name, but he was just like, hey, you, I haven't seen you around. Let's be friends. Like,
definitely the supporting roles are not as well written.
But I
but I also like Ilsa. Ilsa?
Oh yeah, the sister?
Yeah. Yeah, the sister.
Yeah, I like her. She was sweet. She was nice. Overall, like, I'm happy I read it because I've wanted to read it for a long time. I just wish I liked it, like, a little bit more. Do you know anything about, like, the, like, public opinion on the Savage Song or the, I don't even know what the next book's called. Something Duet, I think?
Our Dark Duet?
Yeah.
I think when people, like, read V.E. Schwab's, like, adult fantasies, they would think her middle grade and YA is underwhelming. I think, yeah. Because Shades of Magic is adult, so maybe that's the way why you felt it's a little underwhelming.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping to like Vicious a lot more, because I think that writing will be a little more like up to my tastes as of right now. Because when I read A Darker Shade of Magic, I almost felt like I haven't read any really other adult books, but it felt like it didn't feel like super mature or like anything like that. Like I felt like I was just reading like a normal book I would read almost, but with like a little more slower pacing up until events. Okay, so the average rating on this Savage Song is a 4.1 out of 5. The average rating for Our Dark Duet is a 4.2.
Ooh.
So it looks like the public opinion enjoyed the second book a little more. Oh yeah, so if I'm looking at the community reviews, more people rated it 4 stars than 5 stars, but for Our Dark Duet, more people rated it 5 stars than 4 stars.
Oh.
So it looks like Our Dark Duet is pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's some incentive that I need to read the next book just to know.
Yeah. We should buddy read the next book, like, when you
Yeah.
get the copy. Yeah.
Ooh, I am down. I am down.
Oh, I also really like the music, like how the music incorporated into the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did look that. I also like the cover. Because the violin, but it looks like a streetway, and I'm like,
Violin?
yeah. I don't know. If I hold it up, can you tell?
Oh, I saw it now.
Yeah.
I never saw it before.
Yeah.
Oh, mind is
So-
blown.
Yes, so I guess they give it like that dual meaning type thing. It's great to talk to you, like, I was gonna say in person, but I was like, wait. It's great to talk to you more like video chat style, I guess, because like texting takes a lot of effort after a while. So like,
Yeah.
nice to have this discussion. It was nice. I'm enjoying it.
Same. I really enjoyed it.
Yay. So let's just conclude our thoughts on
Okay.
this Savage song. So I don't know. I kind of want to read the next book. If I didn't read the next book, I don't think I would be angry about it. But like, if it gets better, like I honestly don't know where the story would go. But I know from my previous experiences that, like with The Darker Shade of Magic, when you think the story's over, you were wrong. You were wrong. It goes on for so much longer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 3 out of 5 stars from me, and I feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah. I will definitely read the next book, I think, because I'm like, I can't shut up about Vicious. Like,
Okay.
it's like,
A new
when
brand.
it ends, yeah. Ooh. Maybe. It's like, when it ends, it felt like V. Schwab wrap it up, but then she can always find a way to go back to it.
Is that,
like-
like what happens with From Vicious to Vengeful?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there is an article saying, like, V. Schwab is like, she is closing the book very perfectly, but there is always a window left open to let the readers want more.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Very true.
And then she'll just write more. I think the Savage song is one of those kind of, is one of those examples, like, it's going to be, it seems it's rounded. What am I saying? It seems it's like wrapped up, but then there's going to be more happening. I can't wait to read that.
Yeah, maybe if I get the book somehow, we can read it together again and like do a part 2, like what our thoughts are on it. So
Yeah.
maybe.
I really like talking to you.
Me, it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
We were like screaming to each other about the books.
Yes, this is one of my favorite pastimes. Like,
Yeah.
I have like one singular friend in the real world where I can like talk to them face to face. But there's no one else. Everyone else just thinks we're crazy. But it's nice to know that I'm not crazy alone, you know?
Yeah. Not that crazy. We were both screaming to our laptop. Like, screaming about...
Exactly. It's fine. It's
not
fine.
crazy.
Normal activities.
Normal
Activities.
We should do this more often. It's good talking to you.
Yes, I am down. All right, Janos. Have a nice rest of your day. Hit me up anytime. And you'll see this video eventually on my channel.
Eventually. Yeah.
So yeah, have a good day.
Yeah.
Nice
have a nice
talking with-
sleep.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
20s are for spending hours and hours.